is our hypersensitivity to our senses. The first one being touch. Light touch is something that irritates many autistic people. Many of us remove the tags from our shirts for this reason. But deep pressure is very satisfying. Hugging, the feeling of being enclosed in something, is very gratifying to many of us. Another aspect of this hypersensitivity to our senses is texture. So a lot of us say we hate certain foods, but in reality we can't handle the texture of the food. So for example, I will never eat mashed potatoes, even though I love French fries. They're exactly the same thing, but the texture grosses me out, and I never eat anything with that texture. Cottage cheese, cream cheese, whatever. It's all gross. Another aspect of our hypersensitivity is sound. If I'm in a room talking, or reading, or thinking, and there's someone else making noise, I cannot concentrate until they're done. I have tried very hard over the years to overcome this with zero success. However, I am able to soothe myself very well by listening to my headphones, which give me familiar music that blocks out all background noise, and then I can concentrate very well. Many autistic people are also hypersensitive to pitch. Some of us have perfect pitch, and for those autistic people, we cannot listen to someone singing off key or else they'll go crazy. I am not one of those people, luckily, but I am a singer. And the thing that makes me want to sing is that I am also hypersensitive to intonation or inflection. This is not something talked about anywhere in the literature that I've been able to find. But when I was young, as in elementary school, I would judge phrases not based on the content, but based on the rhythm of the meter. And so I would speak in this incredibly odd way where I would add in words that may not have made sense just because I wanted to make sure I was speaking in perfect meter. This is one reason a lot of autistic people have what's called echolalia. We're judging what we hear based on the inflection and the intonation and the meter rather than the words. So you'll meet an autistic person with echolalia and you'll say, "Hi, how are you doing today?" And they will repeat back to you, "Hi, how are you doing today?" Because they're listening to the meter. It's like when you sing along with the song and you don't think about what the words mean. You're enjoying the sound. Imagine doing that with spoken communication, and you can understand how odd we seem to many people who do not have this. Of course, we're hypersensitive to our sight, visual stimuli. So for example, this picture I took of the sun looks like this to you, but to me it looks like this. As a result, for 20 years before I realized this about myself, I said, "Ooh, I hate being outside. I'll never go outside. Every time I'm out there I get angry," and I didn't know why, and then I found out I just have to wear sunglasses every day and I'm fine. But for 20 years, I wouldn't get enough sunlight, and I would be pissed off when I would have to go play soccer or something. Luckily, this hypersensitivity can be very useful. So, we have an incredible bird of prey-like ability to detect differences in the visual environment very, very quickly. So for example, you look at this picture, and to you it probably looks the same as this picture. But I can tell that this one is significantly brighter than that last one. Now that may not be the best example, but I couldn't play 3-card Monty on stage for you right now. But that would get the same point across. There's actually a company called Aspiritech that hires autistic people only because of this hypersensitivity to do product testing and figure out what differences there are between their website and the website they actually want. And this is incredibly useful to us. And so we... Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Oh, cool. You're not. You're not. Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Oops. So, this is a video of me stimming, which is what autistic people do when we're feeling hypersensitive. This is not a sign that something is wrong necessarily. We can just be very excited, and this is how we express it. It's okay for you to laugh at this video. I filmed it knowing this was a very silly thing I was doing. I was very excited. I forget why. But when you see an autistic person doing this in the community, it's very disconcerting. And you don't realize why this is happening, but it's probably due to that sensory input I was talking about earlier. So you might see someone out in the field doing this because the light is bothering them. And sensory input is the first thing we should check when figuring out why is this person feeling overstimulated. Anyway, so aside from being hypersensitive to irritating noises like this one, the thing that irritates me the most is having my range of motion restricted without my permission. So when I walk past a doorknob and I get my headphones stuck on it, my hormones rush in and my amygdala turns on, and I literally want to break down that door for a minute. But then my cerebral cortex tells me, you have to calm down. You're not allowed to break down the door. And I stand there and I don't do anything. This is a very common autistic defense mechanism. We have learned that because no one else has the same sensitivities we do, that we're not allowed to express them when they're irritating us. When my mom was vacuuming the wood floor and I would scream at her, "You're driving me crazy, why are you doing this?" she'd say, "I don't know what I'm doing wrong." So, I guess the best way I can explain it is like this. If I continue to talk underneath this noise song that I recorded, most of you are going to probably say, why is no one doing anything about this? This is really irritating. This is how autistic people feel